Let's be honest, who really likes budgets? I mean, just the word budget can make your shoulders tense up. For most of us, it brings back memories of staring at endless columns of numbers, trying to make sense of where every single dollar went. It's like being back in math class, except now the stakes are higher because it's your actual money on the line. Budgets always sound restrictive, complicated, and let's be real, a little bit boring. They're supposed to help us feel in control, but more often than not, they just feel like another set of rules we're destined to break. I used to think that if I could just find the right spreadsheet or the perfect app, everything would finally click. Spoiler alert, it never did, and I know I'm not alone in this. Whenever I talk to friends or family, I hear the same stories. People start out motivated, determined to stick to their budget, but after a few weeks, real life gets in the way. There's always an unexpected expense, a forgotten birthday, or just a night out that blows the whole plan. Those spreadsheets and spending trackers always seemed more like a chore than a helpful tool. I'd spend hours setting them up, color-coding categories, and tracking every coffee or grocery run, but instead of feeling empowered, I just felt overwhelmed. It was like I was working for the budget, not the other way around. For years, I tried the whole budgeting thing. I'd read articles, watch videos, and download every new app that promised to make managing money easier. I even bought special notebooks just for budgeting, convinced that this time it would finally stick. I downloaded the apps, color-coded my expenses, and even attempted the envelope system. Remember that one? You literally put cash into envelopes for each category and hope you don't run out before the month ends. It sounded simple, but in reality, it was just another thing to keep track of, and I'd always end up borrowing from one envelope to cover another. But it never stuck. Life got in the way. There were always distractions, kids needing attention, work deadlines, or just the exhaustion of daily life. Sitting down to update my budget felt like a punishment, not a solution. I'd overspend in one category, feel guilty, and then give up altogether. It was a cycle. Try, fail, feel bad, and then avoid looking at my finances for weeks. The guilt would pile up, making it even harder to start again. It felt like I was constantly failing, and my financial goals seemed miles away. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't seem to make the numbers work. I started to wonder if I was just bad with money, or if maybe the problem was the system itself. Eventually, I realized I needed a different approach, something simpler, more flexible, and actually sustainable for my real life. I wanted a way to manage my money that didn't make me feel like I was constantly under pressure or failing some impossible test. That's when I decided to ditch the traditional budget and try something new. I wanted to find a way to take control of my finances without all the stress and guilt. And honestly, it was the best decision I ever made. It all started with a dream, a trip to the Maldives. I'd always imagined myself lounging on those pristine white sand beaches, the sun warming my face, and the sound of gentle waves lapping at the shore. The Maldives had always seemed like the ultimate escape, a place where worries melted away, and every day felt like a postcard come to life. I could almost taste the salty air and feel the soft sand between my toes as I scrolled through endless photos of turquoise waters and luxurious overwater bungalows. Turquoise waters, overwater bungalows, the works. It was everything I'd ever wanted in a vacation, pure paradise. I pictured myself waking up to the sunrise over the ocean, sipping fresh coconut water, and exploring vibrant coral reefs. The idea of disconnecting from the daily grind and immersing myself in such beauty was intoxicating. I started planning in my head. Which resort would I choose? What activities would I try? And how many days would I need to truly soak it all in? But when I checked my bank account, reality hit. The numbers staring back at me were a harsh reminder that dreams come with a price tag. Suddenly, the fantasy of sipping cocktails by the sea felt a lot further away. I realized that if I wanted this trip to become more than just a daydream, I'd have to make some serious changes to my finances. The gap between my savings and the cost of the trip was bigger than I'd expected, and it was honestly a little overwhelming. I needed a serious savings plan. No more vague intentions or wishful thinking. I had to get organized and set clear goals. I grabbed my notebook and started jotting down ideas, determined to figure out exactly how much I'd need and how I could get there. It was time to turn my dream into a concrete plan, one step at a time. I gave myself 3 months to save $5,000. It was a bold target, but I knew that having a specific goal and a deadline would keep me motivated. I circled the date on my calendar and wrote the amount in big, bold letters. Every day, I'd see that reminder and know exactly what I was working toward. It was both exciting and a little bit scary, but I was ready to take on the challenge. It sounded ambitious, maybe even impossible without a strict budget. I knew I'd have to make some sacrifices and rethink my spending habits. There were moments of doubt. Could I really pull this off in just 3 months? What if unexpected expenses popped up? But I reminded myself that big dreams require bold action, and I was determined not to let fear hold me back. But I was determined to prove that saving money didn't have to be a constant battle. I wanted to show myself that with the right mindset and a little creativity, I could reach my goal without feeling deprived. I decided to treat this challenge as an adventure in itself, a chance to learn new skills, discover hidden opportunities, and build better habits for the future. My strategy was simple: identify areas where I could cut back without drastically changing my lifestyle and find creative ways to boost my income. I started by tracking every expense, looking for small changes that could add up over time. Maybe I could cook more meals at home, cancel a few unused subscriptions, or sell things I no longer needed. I also brainstormed ways to earn extra cash, like freelancing, taking on odd jobs, or offering my skills online. Every dollar saved or earned brought me one step closer to the Maldives. It was time to put my plan into action. With determination, a clear goal, and a willingness to get creative, I was ready to turn my dream vacation into a financial reality, one step, $1, and one day at a time. One of my biggest weaknesses? Daily takeaway coffee. That 5-pound latte might seem insignificant, but it adds up quickly. I challenged myself to make coffee at home for a week. Guess what? I saved over 30 pounds. That's when I realized that small changes can make a significant difference. Next, I tackled those sneaky subscription services. I canceled the ones I rarely used and negotiated better rates for the ones I kept. These adjustments alone freed up a surprising amount of money in my budget. You've probably heard the advice, skip the latte and you'll be a millionaire. While I'm all for making coffee at home, the truth is that saving money goes beyond cutting back on small indulgences. It's about being mindful of your spending habits as a whole. Take a close look at your bank statements and identify areas where you're spending more than you realize. Maybe it's dining out too often, impulse purchases online, or those unused gym memberships. Once you've identified your spending triggers, you can start making conscious choices about where to cut back. When we think about saving money, most of us immediately picture cutting back on expenses, skipping that daily coffee, eating out less, or hunting for discounts. But there's another side to the equation that's just as important: finding creative ways to increase your income. Sometimes the best opportunities are hiding in plain sight, right within the things you already love to do. For me, that realization was a game changer. I've always been passionate about photography. It started as a simple hobby, capturing sunsets, candid moments with friends, and the beauty of everyday life. But one day I wondered, what if I could turn this passion into a side hustle that actually brings in extra cash? I began by offering portrait sessions to friends and family, charging a small fee just to get some experience and build my confidence. It was a great way to practice my skills in a comfortable environment, and my loved ones appreciated having professional quality photos at a fraction of the usual cost. As I shared my work on social media, word of mouth started to spread. Soon I was getting requests from local businesses, community groups, and even people I'd never met before. Suddenly my weekends were filled with exciting gigs, everything from family reunions to small business events. Each new project helped me grow, both as a photographer and as an entrepreneur. Not only did this side hustle provide a steady stream of extra income, but it also gave me a sense of accomplishment and purpose. I was able to invest in better equipment, learn new editing techniques, and even connect with other creatives in my community. The best part? I was doing something I genuinely enjoyed, and every new challenge pushed me to improve. If you're looking to boost your own income, take a moment to reflect on your hobbies and interests. Maybe you love baking, painting, writing, or crafting. Perhaps you have a knack for fixing things, teaching, or organizing events. The possibilities are endless, and you might be surprised at how valuable your skills are to others. So ask yourself, could your favorite pastime become a source of income? With a little creativity and determination, you can turn your passion into profit and enjoy the journey along the way. Eating out can be a major drain on finances. So, I challenged myself to cook more meals at home. I planned my meals in advance, made a grocery list, and stuck to it. Not only did I save money, but I also discovered a love for cooking. I even started experimenting with new recipes and healthy ingredients. And to avoid those tempting takeaway deliveries, I deleted the apps from my phone. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Here's a fun little trick I learned along the way: the 5-pound rule. Anytime I considered buying something non-essential, I'd ask myself, would I rather have this item or an extra 5 pounds in my savings account? More often than not, the answer was an easy one. This simple mental shift helped me prioritize saving and avoid impulse purchases. Another tip: automate your savings. Set up a recurring transfer from your checking account to your savings account each month. You won't even miss the money, and it's a surefire way to reach your financial goals faster. Saving money is a journey, not a race. There will be times when you slip up or overspend. Don't beat yourself up about it. Instead, focus on celebrating the small victories along the way. Each pound saved is a step closer to your goal. Treat yourself occasionally, guilt-free, and remember that consistency is key. One of my biggest mistakes was trying to do too much too soon. I got overwhelmed and almost gave up. That's why it's essential to start small and gradually build sustainable habits. Remember that dream trip to the Maldives? By making small changes, finding creative ways to earn extra cash, and staying consistent, I reached my $5,000 goal in just 3 months. It wasn't always easy, but it was definitely worth it. You don't need a complicated budget to achieve your financial goals. Start small, focus on progress over perfection, and celebrate your successes along the way. You've got this.